Suicide is painless. You take or leave it.
You could accept the fact that the city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportions. What he means is Old Testament, real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling. 4 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave, human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a whole lot of places where we could start. I mean, did anybody else feel like that the week dragged? Well, it dragged until about halfway through, and then all of a sudden, everyone was checking their financial statements every couple of hours. But hey, you know what? We'll get into all of that throughout the course of the show. You know, I have a whole stack here of stuff. I mean, look at this. Hold on. We grab this. Here it is. Like I have a whole stack here, in here from, and this is all. Whoa, what are they doing? What's happening here? What? No, there we go. What was that? What do you mean, Lord Blanket? No such thing as a Lord Blanket. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so here we are. Instead of what? What are you guys talking about? Stop snickering back there behind the glass. Absolutely ridiculous. I just, oh, well, I mean, I'm sitting there trying to do something, and all of a sudden you guys, and then you what are you going to blame it on? You're always blaming it on a Lord Blanket. No such thing as a Lord Blanket. So I have no idea where you guys come up with this stuff. Anyways, here we are. Once again, it is the 5th day of April in the year 2025. It is 10:10 here on the East Coast as we are broadcasting live from the Overcast campus here at the University of Richmond. You're listening to WDCE 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everyone, of course, for joining into the show. A couple of people already popping in here. Miss you, shout out to you. Math as well, and Who Are You 91 also popping in to the chat as well. Mary Murr first as usual, and if you guys want to join into the conversation as we move along through the show, at Sam Newsman all over social media. That's at Sam Newsman all over social media is where you're going to find me. We're broadcasting live on WDCE.org and .net. That's 90.1 FM if you're here local. But if you're not local, like I said, .org, .net, WDCE is where you're going to want to go. Also, you can download the Live 365 app. Download the Live 365 app, and you'll be able to listen to the radio-only segments of the show. Now, throughout the show, just to let you know how this works, we play cartoon themes, video game themes, movie themes. We've already played a bunch of themes so far, but you can't play those on social media. No, you'll get flagged. So what do? Well, we have multiple things that we do. Number one is we play radio-only segments. That means when I'm not here on camera, you can still listen to the show. That's right. You can still listen to the show, listen to the themes that we're playing, and sometimes we have just radio-only segments. Like in a few moments, we'll be inviting the professor on, and those are radio-only segments. So me and the professor can really get down into the nitty-gritty of deep cuts. Well, because, you know, there's a lot of things that you might not have ever heard or listened to that has to go with things that are happening in the world, and including pop culture, the pop culture zeitgeist, if you will. Richard Chamberlain and Val Kilmer this week, as highlighted. Been, like I said, the whole idea of sometimes these shows is that we like to honor actors and actresses and people of influence. So today we will be honoring a little bit of, Val Kilmer. So like I said, the professor will be here. It is April 2. Well, not April 2, it's April 5th, but it's April 2 as in TOO. So it's April 2. And when me and the professor were talking about what is going to be a theme, I just said, well, I don't know, how about April Foolery? And he said, I gotcha. And so we will be playing a couple of more themes here in just a few moments. Make sure you download the Live 365 app. Search WDCE, WDCE.org, and WDCE.net. Shout out to Kalix, who is here as well. Sculpator, I see you in the chat. Ash Bailey popping in as well. Now, it's when I was thinking about where just to begin, I saw this, a celestial red rover at the Kennedy Center, right? So I guess there's a performance here at the Kennedy Center. This is here on the style section of the Washington Post. Talks about relative performance and stars and whatever. But I thought that people weren't going to be performing there anymore, right? Wasn't that the case? You had a bunch of people who left and got fired, and they were going to make art great again. In fact, who is it? Richard Grinnell. Richard Grinnell said that we're going to make art great again. And he asked, well, what does that mean? He said, I don't know. What? What do you mean you don't know? Make art great again. You can't just go ahead and say, I'm going to make art great again. And then when you're pressed on it, you say, hey, well, what do you mean by that, Jack? And he's like, oh, well, whatever, oh, well, whatever. Who knows? Shout out to Mud Scuffer. Good morning to you, sir. And so, as I'm sitting there thinking about the Kennedy Center and whether or not, I guess, there are still performances there. No, so they are going to keep doing performances. So not everyone is boycotting the Kennedy Center like that terrible Broadway musical. What is it? Oh, yeah, Hamilton. That's absolutely the worst. It was, it's such a great show. Oh, is it? Oh, is it? Is it? I'm not going to get into that. It's just not even worth it. Not even worth it. No, and it's just we're going to keep on moving on. Moving on. So we take that, we throw it over there. We don't need that. Anything else that we want to get into, I guess, before we head out of here in just a moment and get the professor in? What? Oh, well, that is true. You probably did forget to pre-order the Toy Mercs magazine. And if you did, well, guess what? Your action figures are going to be upset because they're not going to get a 1/12 scale replica of the magazine itself. So shame on you. But you can still purchase the magazine, I believe. Legionsmagazine.com is what it is. So, but that should be coming out fairly soon. I know that they were working very hard on that, and that will be very fun to see that come to fruition. What was that? No, listen, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on the economy stuff. Yeah, we'll get to the economy stuff and all of that around 11:05, maybe 11:11ish. How about that? 11:11ish. That's what we'll do. So around 11:11ish, maybe 11:05. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But next hour is when we'll get into your 401k. No, well, I'm not going to get into it directly. No. Maybe how about the global 401k? How does that sound? We'll talk about that. We'll read some of the headlines, go over some of the news, and we'll do that, like I said, at the top of next hour. What was it? Huh? Well, oh. Yeah, oh, my hat. Yes, the hat. Yes, the Politics and Pints. I believe they still have tickets. They do have tickets. And just go to the WRVA website, and you'll be able to pick those up. I met the new guy, Rich Herrera. Yeah, what was it? The import burrito. No, that's not it. Why do you guys do that to me? No, it's the big fajita. Well, but I heard he was just fun size. You guys sitting there telling me import burrito. Anyways, he was really nice. Oh, he was fantastic. He's got a nice pair of kicks that he's going to be wearing at Politics and Pies. I'm jazzed. You know, he asked me to come back. He said, "Hey, Sam, I expect to see you there." And I said, "Well, I don't know. It's you just don't want to intrude. You know, I haven't been to any of these Politics and Pints things since the 5th one? So there's been 5 of them now where I haven't been. Well, I mean, you know, eventually you get to the point where you're like, well, you know, if the puppet shows up, it's just gonna overshadow the humans. Don't want to do that. That's bad, especially for the new guy. You know, I don't want to sit there and say, oh well, Sam is hogging the spotlight of the new guy. You know what? Those shoes are shiny enough. You know, people are gonna have to wear their sunglasses just because they're. You know, that's what they need to be worried about. Worry about me overshadowing. If I do show up, it'll be at the end, and as people are leaving, I'll just be asking people what they thought about the show and who won the debate. It is a debate, right? Is it a debate? Is it, well, they're just sitting around having a cocktail? Well, I will, listen, I'll do my best. I'll try to show up. Once again, don't want a hoggity spotlight. And because, you know, eventually we'll be getting a felt job over here, a felt facelift, if you will. But, you know, might as well just show up maybe one more time in the old garments, if you will, old school style. I'll keep this hat on, though, so that way they know that I'm official. All right. Well, I'll be getting intel information for Papa Bear and Coach. What? What do you mean you don't know who Papa Bear and Coach is? Well, I can't tell you that either. That's classified. But anyway, so, okay, that is Wednesday, April the 9th at the Beacon Theater down in Hopewell. Go ahead and get any last-minute tickets if you want to get those. It's sort of a big thing. What does it say? Kids want to fervently see that Minecraft movie today. I'll give in and take them. Well, I read that Minecraft actually is one of the games that does help develop children's brains. That's true. I think you can actually look that up. So if you are playing a game, if your kids are playing a game and they're playing Minecraft, they are being creative and their brain is developing. It's true. Just like fast hand-eye coordination, fast twitch reflexes, eye coordination, first-person shooters and racing games. No, it's true. It's true. Everyone wants to sit there and say, oh, well, video games are bad and you should go outside and play. And while you should go outside and play, that is true. The thing about video games is that now you can become a professional. So then when the parents come inside the room and they're like, hey, you know what? You need to go outside. Stop playing those video games. It'll never do anything for you. You're like, well, hold on. Wait a minute, Mom. Wait a minute. Hold on. I can be a professional gamer now. Right? Just be a professional gamer and, sit around, play games, and make money. Right? Hey, sounds like a good thing to be. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, before I forget, these whole tariff things. Did you see this? So this is interesting. Nintendo announced the Switch 2. Did you see that? So the Switch 2, it is the second console called the Switch, hence the name Switch 2, with a terrible logo. Might I add. It was the most uncreative logo that I've ever seen. It was just the Switch logo with the 2 next to it. Come on, guys. Tighten up. You could have done better than that. But anyways, they announced this whole pre-sale that they're going to do this Wednesday. And you could buy the game system itself. You can buy it with Mario Kart World, a release title. Now, this thing doesn't come out until, what is it, June the 5th? So June the 5th is when it comes out. There's going to be a pre-sale on Wednesday, and then the day after Trump makes his tariff announcements, Nintendo's like, well, wait a minute, hold on, we're going to pump the brakes. Oh, it's me, Mario. Oh, it's me, terrible tariffs. So it's, and that's what happened. So Nintendo, for the first time in history, said, hold on, wait a minute, let's pump the brakes. The tariff things have just messed up everything. And now people are wondering, will there be a price increase before there's even a sale of the unit? Like I said, it's coming out on what, June 5th? That's right, June 5th. June 5th is when it drops. But there was supposed to be a pre-sale, and they gave all the information too. How much it was going to cost, how much it was going to cost if you bought Mario Kart, how much it was going to cost if you wanted to just buy games. And of course, everybody was upset about the games thing, specifically when it comes to digital downloads. Like, how is a digital, so there's no product being shipped with a digital download. So there's no port of entry, port of exit. So the idea that you would sit there and increase the price of a digital download, probably not the best idea. But you know what? People will probably still pay it. And we'll just have to see. I had a buddy of mine. He said, what's going to happen is that everybody's going to raise their prices, and GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, when it comes out, it's going to be $100 minimum. $100 just for a game. But then I'm sitting there, everybody's whining and complaining about $80 for a game. I sat there, I was looking at some of the old Super Nintendo games back in the day. Donkey Kong Country Returns, $89. Killer Instinct, $87. So you can't just sit there and say, oh, well, but I do think, though, the whole digital download thing and an $80 digital download, you can't sit there and say a digital download is affected by tariffs. You just can't. No, so I don't want to hear that. That's a moot point. Shout out to Cato. See Cato in the chat as well. Make sure you're following him at Cato's Collection all over social media. It's some of the best marriage advice that you'll ever find. Collecting is marriage advice for collectors. And, it's one of those things where he put a lot of work and effort into it. He did, by not going to school at all. No, it's true. It's true. I mean, you don't really need school. All you need to do is really just print out a piece of paper and have a really cool robe. And when you do that and you look, when you look like that you do have it all together, well, I'm telling you what, it's a recipe for some of the best marriage collecting advice there. No, not marriage collect. No, not marriage collect. I'm not saying like multiple marriages. No. Don't misunderstand me. No. I mean, if you're a collector and you want marriage advice, that's what you want. So, Cato says, all right, well, at least Cato's a part of this whole thing together. Cato says he's increasing tariffs on his videos by 200%. Well, I mean, that's fair, right? 200%? Well, you think that's too much. What? You think it should be more? Oh, the value of Cato's, well, okay, that makes sense. All right, so the value of Cato's relationship advice, the crew over there on the other side of the glass are saying, well, you know what, it should probably be more than that, considering the advice that he's giving on a daily basis, no less, across all social media. It's not just the YouTube Cato's channel. No, it's the YouTube, Instagram. It's the Cato's, only Cato's. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Only Cato's. But it's, it's interesting. You're thinking about these tariffs and toys, people in action figure collecting. Guess what? Action figure collecting just became a bougie import hobby. And they've been jacking up the prices for the last, couple of years now anyway. And so shouldn't come to a surprise with anybody that this is what's going to be going down. So, yeah, Cato says he does not tick any Chinese talks, though. No TikTok. Well, TikTok, I saw this the other day, looking to be bought by Amazon, possibly. Amazon's going to go for a bid for TikTok. TikTok is where I have the most followers. You know that, right? Well, I still have a nice set of cement algorithm shoes on. I got the cement algorithm shoes there too. I'll never forget when it happened. I did a 9/11 video and then a video on 9/12 about 9/11 as well. Both of them got banned and the cement shoes came on. Yeah, happened on Instagram too. Instagram, it took a little bit longer for them to turn the algorithm knob down on me, but it has happened. And then when people say, "Oh, well, you should be," what's Sam's main focus? What should it be? What should Sam do? What is Sam? Well, you know what I am? I'm an award-winning broadcasting media puppet. That's what I am. And what comes with that? Well, anything I do or say when it comes to this microphone or on this camera is just gold to begin with. Yeah, sometimes you just have to pat yourself on the back. You do. So let me do that. Yeah, that's right. Pat yourself on the back. Sometimes you just have to do it, because no one wants to sit there and do it yourselves. But, what's nice about this? Style Weekly, we were in the top 3 for best media personality. Now, we won't find out about that until June. But when we do, that should be very, very interesting. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it'll be great. I think it will be absolutely fantastic. Okay, so here we go. I have a few things that I'm going to be playing here. The professor sent over some jams, and we'll play a few of these. You know what? Also, for some, I think that's one of the things that we should do, right? What do you guys say? We'll go ahead and we'll give them a little something out of the gate. And then we'll play a few songs that Dave sent over, and then we'll get the professor with us just after that. Make sure when you're following me at Sam Newsman all over social media, Narcissist would have nothing to do without TikTok. Well, hey, count me in. How about that? Count me in. I want my info exploited by U.S. corporations only, says Ash Bailey. Well, that's, I was asked the other day, what is the one thing about America that you love the most? And I said, government secrets. It's true. I mean, nothing tells me that my government is looking out for me more than the fact that they have secrets. And I know those secrets are just to keep me safe, right? Right. Right. At Sam Newsman all over social media. That's at Sam Newsman all over social media. Download the Live 365 app, search WDCE, and you'll be able to listen to the radio-only segments of the show. If you don't download that, you can always go to WDCE.org or WDCE.net. And we'll be back on the other side of this music segment break to speak with the professor, Deep Cut Dave, about all this April foolery. Broadcasting live from the Overcast campus at the University of Richmond, you're listening to WDCE 90.1 FM. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning.